Starseeds, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's get started and see what messages we have for the Starseed Collective this week. You may also want to check out your sun, moon, and rising placements to see what messages await you in those readings as well. All right, Starseeds, let's see. What is the energy around the Starseeds for the week ahead? Starseeds, let's have a look here. We've got break the chain, ancestral patterns, healing, rewriting the future. You've got the yes card, just say yes. Trust that niggling feeling. What is that niggling feeling trying to tell you? And finally, we see awakening, energetic upgrades, a new way of being, integration. So we're working towards an awakening moment here where we need to say yes to breaking the chains and to trust that inner voice this week, to really trust that inner voice towards what is it guiding you towards? What is that feeling telling you? Where are you being guided to go? Bottom of the deck says play, have fun, celebrate, don't be so serious. So you might be moving through some energies that are thick and dense right now, and you're really being guided to trust whatever that feeling is guiding you towards, to say yes to it, to take a leap, to go first, because you're going through another level of awakening where you're sort of breaking chains from that familiar ancestral pattern that we all have, right? Where you're sort of rewriting the story of that line, and you're the initiation of that change. You're healing that ancestral pattern. So that always makes me think of, in this lifetime, whatever your inner child sort of has been carrying with you, you're about to heal and rewrite that and then release it. And I feel like you're getting the upgrades necessary to sort of integrate all of that work. You're being guided to just say yes to this, to trust it, and then to play, to heighten your vibration through doing things that make you feel that celebration, that are fun, where you're not so serious and you're just enjoying yourself. You're letting that inner child play as it's rewriting and healing old patterns. Very interesting start to your reading, Starseeds. Let's jump into the tarot cards and see what messages we receive here. So on this awakening, on this path of this yet another awakening, another way, a new way of being, as you're integrating and breaking patterns, integrating and breaking patterns, we see the Page of Rods. So this is bringing through a lot of new self-discovery. So it's almost like you're on another level of awakening. A lot of you may have recently been sort of going through almost a dark night of the soul, where things seem to have been sort of breaking down again so that you can rebuild them new, and I feel like you're almost rejecting old ways of doing things as you break these chains, and you're being guided to sort of rewrite your line, that ancestral pattern. That line needs to be rewritten. We're seeing the Six of Wands. I feel like you're going to be acknowledged for this. You're going to be receiving some acknowledgement from maybe from your ancestors, maybe from yourself, maybe from the external world. But this is coming through to sort of reveal success, that this is a yes. This is another level of awakening where you're about to sort of transform things yet again. And it's time to really trust it, but also to just sort of play as you go through this. Trusting makes it less intense. I feel like when you're able to trust something, you're able to play, because you trust that everything is moving in the way that it needs to, and you don't need to be so serious or held by fear, right? Or going back to old patterns. You can say yes to this awakening, saying yes to this awakening and trusting it. And we see here, as I say that, the Knight of Swords. So Really trusting that Knight of Swords brings in a lot of change. When it's in reverse, I feel like we're rejecting that change. And so that's coming out to clarify this idea of saying yes. So regardless of what this change is, even though as you sort of evaluate, what is that feeling inside you saying, even if that change seems really drastic, like it's breaking a pattern, it's disrupting a pattern of being, doing, living, loving, working, it's disrupting that pattern. Say yes to that, because this is a new way of being where you're integrating so much new. This is new. You're getting some new downloads, you're getting some new energy. This is coming through. We've got the Knight of Cups, and we've also got the Six of Pentacles. So I feel like this is your time to really, not hide, not to wear a mask. This is your time to shine, to be yourself, to say yes to who you are, to be in balance with giving and receiving. You don't need to be a people pleaser. You don't need to hide behind any sort of falseness here. You can stay in balance, and you can sort of just express yourself and be open to that, and not deny any changes that are coming in to sort of heighten you or awaken you, to shake you out of your slumber that says, I have to do things the way that they've always been done. No. If anything, you can say yes to breaking the chains. This is a moment where you're going to be successful if you can you're going to be successful no matter what, but I feel like you're being guided to really shift things here for yourself, to really start a new path of self-discovery yet again. I feel like this is another level of awakening. This is another level of rebirth, and you're moving through it this week. It's all starting to shift. You're going to need to surrender to this, even if you feel like, I don't know how to surrender to this level of shift. Trust. It starts by trusting, and then by just being open and knowing that all will be well, knowing that everything will end in balance here for you, and in celebration, in success, in acknowledgement, in recognition, even if it's that acknowledgement and recognition that you give yourself. This is your time to sort of shift things and to say, yes, I trust that feeling within me that is guiding me to express myself and to break these chains and patterns that I have been sort of given as a download, and I'm, acting it out, but it doesn't feel genuine to me. It's time to break those outdated systems. There's the Hierophant coming through to tell you this is a moment where it's like an aha moment where you sort of see things from a different perspective. It's like you're getting this upgrade. You're being given the keys here, and you're being given the guidance that you need. You just have to trust it. You have to be open to it. This is coming from Source. This is now the Knight of Rods moving towards you with the Knight of Swords and the Knight of Cups, all here together in the same sort of formation to move you emotionally, to move you mentally, and to move you with your will and your passion, to move you forward, determined and focused and open-hearted, and ready to accept a shift in the paradigm, ready to accept a shift in the way that you perceive things, right? Ready to break those chains and to be in balance. This is something that is going to end a very difficult period for you. I feel like we're seeing the Ten of Swords here because you've been going through it lately, and you've been a champion. You've been really trying to sort of move through this with as much ease and grace as you can, and yet I feel like you're at that point where you're like, I don't think I can handle any more. So that's where you're being guided to just keep surrendering, keep trusting, keep saying yes to this upgrade, this energetic awakening that you're going through, even if it feels like it's scary to be vulnerable and scary to sort of open yourself up, to be vulnerable and to be in balance with what's happening around you right now. You might be overthinking some of these outcomes and thinking this can't end well is almost what I hear you saying. How is this going to end well? It will end well. It will end well. You just have to be in alignment with it. Don't fight it. That's where it's going to feel more uncomfortable, is if you fight it, if you deny it, if you're not open to it, if you don't surrender to it, if you deny this for yourself, if you don't play, if you don't enjoy, where you must celebrate as well. It doesn't have to be so serious all the time. There's the Page of Cups coming through, being a messenger of delivering this rebirth to you, delivering this new beginning, this transformative new start. It's a rebirth. This is a time to celebrate. The worst of this has passed, and I feel like it's time now for the healing of this. Don't turn cold now. Don't shift into a place that says, almost like to be cold and cool. I feel like this is the time to be light and free and celebrate and play, to trust what's going on and to break through this. It's interesting. There's justice guiding you to keep things in balance. Don't overthink, and don't sort of have this feeling come through that says that things are not in balance. Things are going to, I feel, incredibly be in balance for you. And this Justice card is coming through to sort of get you organized. It's helping to get you in alignment and to get you organized. Here are the rest of your cards. There's the Fool, and there's the Four of Cups. So it's interesting. You're sort of, and there's the Four of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. So part of the patterns that you're releasing here are the patterns of fearing lack, the patterns of feeling like you've missed out on something. You're also sort of removing this idea that you need to be cold in order to appear confident and grounded. No, I feel like if anything, you need to play and express yourself and say yes to that feeling you have within, because I feel like it's trying to guide you towards a new day, one where you're not so distracted, one where you can see both sides, and that it's not so black and white. It's not so black and white. If anything, it's like you're sort of embracing the gray here, where you're coming into your own truth, your own wisdom, and you're integrating all of that, and you're seeing how delightful that experience can be. And that if fear is causing you to act in a certain way, it's almost like you need that to come to the surface too, so that you can look at it and break that pattern. Anything that's coming to the surface right now, be it fear, be it a lack of ability to be vulnerable, be it a denial of accepting shift and change in your life, this idea of lack, it's all coming to the surface so that you can heal it. These are all patterns that have been sort of affecting your ancestral line for who knows how long, but now it's coming to the point where you can heal it. And there's I feel like you're receiving guidance from Archangel Michael. I feel like you're receiving guidance here from Archangel Gabriel, and you're also receiving guidance here from Archangel Raphael. They're all coming in here to ground you, support you, and open you up, and to keep you feeling like you can trust this, to keep you feeling safe, that you have nothing to fear except the idea of fear and stagnation. I feel like that is it. And this idea of lack, that there isn't enough here. Like that you sort of are worrying that there's not enough resources, time, or energy to do what you feel guided to do. This is a time of new beginnings and new awakenings, and it's like the more vulnerable you can be, the better, by sort of trying to be the King of Swords in reverse, which is very cold energy that keeps you sort of hiding and protecting yourself and being very distant and aloof. No, if anything, you're being called in to engage with all of this energy. Yes, now let's read from the ground up here. Yeah, getting distance from limiting beliefs, really healing any sort of feelings that were there in respect to disappointments or frustrations or seeing endings as not being healing. I feel like you might need to let go of some perceived losses here, that things that you think you missed out on, but actually you got distance from them in a way to sort of allow you to release these experiences instead of hanging on to them, you know? And as we, sorry, that fell on the floor. As we're looking here at Justice and the Fool, we see the Two of Pentacles, which is, I feel, a card that says you've got to balance things out. You've got to balance things out. You've got this new beginning here, but you're still healing some old patterns. So you're sort of juggling both of these things simultaneously right now, but you've got this. There's the Star card showing me that you're healing right now and that you're bringing your desires to light, but you've got to be careful. Again, there's the Queen of Swords, to not become overly cool. That's why you're seeing this play card. You don't want to become sort of, as you're healing these things, to become trapped by them again. You know what I mean? As you bring these things to the surface to heal them, you have to let them go, you know, so that you don't almost re-traumatize yourself. This is a time where everything is shifting. There's the Tower card. And as everything is shifting around you, it's your chance to sort of begin a new way of being, starting from the ground up again, and to surrender to that as it's happening, and to trust that this is coming at the right time and at the right place, and that you don't have to feel like you don't have the tools for this. I feel like there's a part of you that is doubting that you have the ability to transform and transmute this energy, but you do. And in fact, I think that's what you are here to do right now. You're here to say, I'm turning my losses into moments where I am integrating something. Instead of feeling out in the cold and at a loss, it's almost like you're like seeing this as an opportunity to do something differently. You're seeing anything that comes up like a setback, to see it as an opportunity to do things differently. But that it's important for you to stay sort of at the surface of things until you can sort of see the whole picture. I feel like you have to take this day by day. If you try to sort of speed through this because you want to get to the ending, that's not going to serve you. You almost need to, again, to trust things and play, enjoy and celebrate this process, and take it one day at a time, take it one step at a time, because you're building a new foundation here, one that is built on this new way of being, this new path of self-discovery that's ultimately going to lead to you choosing happiness here. Instead of feeling unworthy of happiness, instead of feeling unworthy of love, you're choosing happiness and you're choosing play. You're saying yes. You're saying yes and you're celebrating. We see the Three of Cups in reverse here, so that tells me that you haven't been able to integrate that success yet, that celebration yet, that open communication with your emotions yet, but it's coming. That's part of this. It's sort of letting down that wall of defenses so that you can celebrate and play instead of feeling like you constantly have to defend yourself. I almost feel like you're saying goodbye to those elements of yourself. You're letting go of that part of yourself that always feels that way. It's a choice. You're choosing, as you integrate all of these experiences, you're choosing to trust yourself. You're choosing to say yes. You're choosing this awakening over the idea of standing still. And there's the Ten of Pentacles. Sorry, that fell on the floor. It took me a second to reach it. That is sort of confirming to you that you can trust this process and that everything will be very timely in terms of you'll have the resources when you need them. You'll have the energy when you need it. You'll have the time when you need it. Everything is going to line up in exactly how it needs to for you. There's the Empress coming through, bringing in that sort of idea that you will be able to unify and integrate this whole experience, but you must say yes to it first. I feel like that is the big thing here, is that you have to agree sort of to go for this. You know, it's interesting looking at this yes card and looking at this Three of Cups card. Very similar imagery. And I feel like it's because you can either say no or yes. You have that choice right now. You can either say yes or no. And I feel like you're being guided to say yes. You're being guided to choose to surrender to this process of awakening that you're going through right now. Make sure to check out your sun, moon, and rising readings as well, because this week has been all about refocusing and integrating and shifting and making choices over, choosing love over fear, and really going for things instead of holding back. So make sure to check out your sun, moon, and rising readings as well. What is the final guidance here for the Starseeds? Final guidance for the Starseeds. We see synergy coming through. The frequency of synergy supports our allowance and acceptance of the not so obvious, never seen before combinations that result in new ways of functioning, working, thinking, relating, loving, and being. It reminds us to embrace the unfamiliar so that a new exciting co-creation can give birth to a new reality. Starseeds, 2121 on the timer as I finish your reading. I feel like you really need to open up. We're seeing the heart chakra on the bottom of the deck here, which is supporting your capacity to love deeply and unconditionally, and brings in the healing properties to harmonize body and mind, which is exactly what you need this week in order to sort of come into this awakening and say yes. Yes, I trust this and I'm open to it. And one of my crystals just fell over as I said that. It was a labradorite. Very interesting, beautiful, sort of illuminating. Depending on how you shine the light on it, it changes. Just like you. This is a moment of integration and sort of renewal, rebirth, where you're experiencing a new way of doing things by breaking patterns. And they could be ancestral patterns, and you're here to break them. All right, my friends, that's it for this week. We'll see you next week. If this reading has resonated for you, please consider subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting. If you would like a personal reading, you can find that information in the description below. And as always, I look forward to reading for you again, and I'm sending you so much love and light. Take care.